So without any further ado, let's give a nice round of applause to the ghosts of Duffy's Cut.
180 years ago, I passed over to the other side. Since then, I've been walking the tracks at night. I am 22, or I was 22 when I was walking the earth. I was born in 1810, and my story started in Denali, Clonmany Parish, in the barony of Inishowen, northwest of Donegal. My family once owned a few tillable parcels of land, and we paid our tithe to the established church. But one of my uncles got into a drunken brawl with the son of a great landowner, and we ended up losing almost everything in 1822, 10 years ago, when I was a lad. I've dug ditches, put in fences, and worked with horses for other people my whole life. Once I went into dairy looking for work with some of the lads from the parish. The people there sneered at us and cursed us, saying they had no work themselves, and it all came to nothing. May the crows curse them. So I worked for the high and mighty and hoped someday to have enough saved to get married and have a family of my own. Then one day, my sister's husband, Michael Darty, told me about America. He said an honest man can make his fortune over there, but you have to cross the great Atlantic like St. Brendan did. Well, I'd had enough already in digging ditches for other men. He showed me a sign on a wall on Carrick Street about work in America for able hands building something called the railroad, in a place called Pennsylvania. The company said it would pay passage to America, and the hired lads would pay it back and work, and then all the riches in the world could be made. Next to it, there was a sign. There was a picture of a ship sailing from Derry to Philadelphia, just 2 days hence, the 27th of April. It was called the John Stamp under Captain Young. I stared at that picture for a while. I thought about a future of digging ditches and teaming horses that belonged to other men for the rest of my life. I made my decision then and there. I asked my brother-in-law to tell my parents I would send them what riches I had made and ask them to say an American wake for me with zucchini.
In life, I was Philip Duffy, and I had led a very charmed life. I made money building railroads and canals to crisscross this great nation of ours. I even have been called the Croesus of the Duffy clan, since I became prosperous with a large home in fashionable West Philadelphia. My charm got me by in life, and got me a good-looking black-haired beauty who became my wife. She never asked questions, having come over from Donegal on an immigrant ship with not a penny to her name. She was grateful to have a home and money to raise our brood of kids. My Irish shrewdness got me the very best contracts from some wealthy railroad owners. You see, they never truly understood me or got me, who I really was in life. They just fell for the character I made of myself. I roamed this great land with the other ghosts who sold out their God and their selves for wealth. You see, I never thought there would be any reckoning for what I did. I knew I was smarter than all those other labour contractors. I thought I could fast-talk my way into heaven when my days on earth would be over. I was wrong. And now, as a ghost, I am doomed to reach out beyond the grave to warn the living that there is a reckoning. You forge a chain for every evil deed you do. As a ghost, you drag this chain of infamy forever in the bleak world inhabited by the damned.
Cold, chilly evenings, such as occur near the month of November, and close to All Souls' Night, my ghostly soul often is drawn back to earth from the other world to try to communicate with the living the shameful guilt I feel even beyond the grave. In life, I worked with a group of young Irishmen fresh over from Donegal, nearby the small town of my ancestors. I wanted you to know that it was evil what I was asked to do to these men, but I was not evil. I have begged forgiveness, but my soul has not been forgiven. On earth, I was Malachi Harris, a blacksmith by trade, and a descendant of other Irishmen who came from Ulster 100 years before these Duffy's Cut lads.
Good evening. I am Sister Pelagia McWilliams. In life, I was a sister of charity, one of that blessed order of heroic educated, and brave women who followed the example of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. During my early life, I cared for many destitute Irish orphans in Philadelphia. Mother Seton insisted upon hygiene, discipline, and strict rules of behavior in our training. We had been requested to provide care for the poor stricken down by cholera, dying in Philadelphia during the hot and damp summer of 1832. Armed with some understanding of disease and with faith in God, we went where others would not go. I came to Malvern with 3 other Sisters of Charity to attend to the dying men working on mile 59 of the Philadelphia and Columbia Railroad, known in infamy as Duffy's Cut. My ghost often returns from heaven to minister to their souls trapped here on earth and damned to wander the railroad near where they died. They had swift, cruel, and brutal deaths.
I'm an Irishman by birth. Patrick Doyle, me name. I was born in County Cork in 1849. And I've asked to be telling you a bit of my part in the story. I came to this country in 1861 at the age of 12 years. By 1865, because of the war that was going on, I chose to take the bounty. And at the age of 16 years, I entered the United States Marine Corps. And lucky for me, the war ended.
My name is Julius Friedrich Saxe. My father would have said my name was Julius Friedrich Saxe. But I was born in Philadelphia on November 22nd of 1842, just 10 years after what happened at Duffy's Cut. I was the son of German Lutheran immigrants from Saxony. I was educated at the old Lutheran Academy in Philadelphia, and I later received a Doctor of Letters degree from Muhlenberg College. I made my start in my father's business as a manufacturer of gentlemen's goods and furnishings at Frederick Saxe & Son in Philadelphia. I later went into journalism, writing for newspapers such as the Philadelphia Public Ledger and the Westchester Village Record newspapers.